David was hiding in the wilderness. He had served King Saul and won many battles. But now, Saul was jealous of David and wanted to kill him. Saul took 3,000 men and went looking for David. David and his men were hiding in the back of a cave when Saul happened to pass by. Saul decided to go inside. David's men saw Saul and said, "Look, God said he would hand your enemy over to you. This is the day. You can do whatever you want to him." David got close to Saul and secretly cut off the corner of Saul's robe. Saul didn't realize that David was there. David felt bothered about what he had done, and he told his men, "I won't fight the king. God chose him." So David did not let his men fight against Saul. Then Saul left the cave and went on his way. David left the cave and called to Saul, "My lord the king." Saul turned around and David knelt low before him. "Why do you believe people who say I'm trying to hurt you?" David asked. "See, God handed you over to me today in the cave. I had a chance to kill you, but I showed mercy." David showed Saul the corner of the robe that he had cut. "I have done nothing against you," David said. "God might punish you, but I will never harm you. Let God decide who is right and who is wrong. May he protect me from you." When Saul heard David's words, he cried. "You are more righteous than I," Saul said, "because you have done what is good to me, though I have done what is evil to you. Most people would kill an enemy, but you have let me go. May God reward you for your kindness." Saul realized God was with David, and he knew David would be the king of Israel. "Promise me you won't kill my family," Saul said. So David promised. Then Saul went home, and David and his men returned to their hiding place. David showed mercy to Saul, his enemy, because David trusted God's plan. Jesus also trusted his Father's plan. He died on the cross so his enemies could experience God's mercy and live forever as part of God's family.
Hey there, I'm Pastor Brian, and it's time for Questions from Kids. Today, Hannah from Sherwood, Arkansas asks,
Why shouldn't we want revenge on people who have wronged us? Wouldn't that be fair for what they did?
Hannah, you know it's hard when somebody does something wrong to us. I know there are times where somebody may do something really mean or hurtful, and it hurts us deeply, and it's hard to see them, especially at times when it seems like they've gotten away with it. But think about our Bible story today. In our Bible story, David had this chance to kill Saul. And think about all the bad, hard things that Saul had done to David. And he had this perfect opportunity. He could have gotten rid of Saul and all that would have been over with. But he didn't. Instead, he showed Saul mercy. And we can learn something from that we too have been called to show mercy, not though because David showed mercy to Saul, but because God has shown mercy to us. Here's the thing we have to remember, that we were enemies of God. We did wrong things to God. We wronged him deeply. We rebelled against him. We sinned against him. We sought our fame rather than his. We did so many bad things to God. And God had every right to give justice toward us and to deal with us the way we deserved, but he didn't. He showed us grace, mercy, and kindness instead. So we deserved punishment, but he gave us mercy and actually took our punishment and gave it to Jesus. So that right there should cause us to live with great humility. When others do something wrong to us, we know that we have not been wronged more than we have wronged God. So we want to pursue mercy and grace in our lives because of what God has given to us. But here's the other wrinkle that we have to keep in mind. God is a God of justice. And while it may not seem like that person that wronged us is being dealt with, we can know for sure that God will bring justice into their lives at some point in some way, whether we see it or not. And so we can rest in knowing that we don't have to get justice for ourselves. God is better at it than we are, and he will deal with it. So here's the question for you today. Who should you show mercy to this week?
Brian and Becky Harrell have been missionaries in the country of Mozambique for many years.
As we were looking at places to go, we wanted to go to a place where nobody else was working. We wanted to go to where there was lostness.
When missionaries talk about lostness, they are referring to people who don't know about Jesus and have very little opportunity to hear the gospel. These people are lost and have little long-term hope without Jesus. Becky and Brian, along with their 1-year-old son, settled on the northern coast of Mozambique. Many villages along this coast are hard to get to. The roads are not good. That's one of the reasons the Harrells use a boat to get to the people living in these places. There are over 100 villages up and down the Mozambique coastline where there are absolutely no Christians there to share the gospel with them. A lot has changed in the Harrells' life since moving to Mozambique so many years ago. For one, they have added 3 more children to their family.
Personal prayer request would be just for our family. I mean, when we go and do our children's ministry, I love to have my children with me. This is something we do as a family. We're in this together.
When they go to the villages to do children's ministry, the family works together. Though it took a lot of hard work and a lot of time, God has used the Harrells to change the lives of the people they work with as well.
We're starting to see people sharing their faith. We're starting to see new works planted. We're starting to see national believers go out as missionaries. All these things that we had talked about over a decade ago, we are starting to see the beginning part of that in our ministry right now.
As you pray for the Harrell family, remember to pray for the new believers. Ask that they would be brave to share with their family and friends. Pray that many, many people living along the northern coast of Mozambique will no longer be lost, but found in Jesus Christ